How's it going? So the other night, I was really tired, so I didn't do a good job of it, but I think it was adequate. I was watching Fox News, and one of the personalities, Kennedy, said, because Trump had just been convicted, and she said, look at the ultra left and the progressive left celebrating. You will probably, over the course of your lifetime, on MSNBC, see so few people that are actually on the progressive left. It might be under 10. They don't let people on in the progressive left on MSNBC or the ultra left. And it's, definitions are very important, political definitions. I'm looking at the definition right now. Left wing, the section of a political party or system that advocates for greater social and economic equality and typically favors socially liberal ideas, the liberal or progressive group or section. So our Democratic Party doesn't qualify because they don't ever increase the minimum wage federally. Medicare for all, you can't even get a vote for it. They don't do anything to help the mass of people. All they do is talk about, they'll talk about equality and, have these grandstanding speeches, but they don't actually do anything. So they don't qualify as being left, let alone progressive left. So the right wing, let's look up right wing now, is, you're in favor of the power structure, power centers, the police force. Even though it's funded by the government, the police force, I think, will qualify. The military, even though because it's a power center. Corporations, massive corporations, big business, any power center, that is right wing. That's the right. The Catholic Church, that's why religion gets caught up in this, even though it's more of a social sort of, political debate. It's on the social side of things. That's why that's considered sort of the right. Right-wing definition. The section of political party or system, this is Oxford Dictionary, system that advocates for free enterprise and private ownership and typically favors socially traditional ideas, the conservation group or section. Okay, that's one way of putting it. So free enterprise, meaning really what they mean is an owner, a board of directors, board of trustees, a chief executive officer, being able to dictate how much money you make, as opposed to it being more democratic. So a left-winger, a true progressive left-winger would be Professor Richard Wolff, the economist, who advocates for worker cooperatives.
It's that old adage that if you don't like the message, please don't take your anger out on the messenger. I am going to be describing to you as best I can what the situation is with the United States' economic system, which has a name. It's called capitalism. And it is, to give you a hint of where we're going, it is a system in very deep doo-doo.
They say, hey, in theory we have democracy. In theory we have democracy in the way we vote. How come we don't have it in the workplace? That makes a lot of sense. We have basically a feudalistic system in the workplace, basically a monarchy, kings and queens. We have owners, boards of directors, managers dictating how much money we make, what we do, as opposed to it being democratic, where if somebody gets hired, fired, a raise, we don't have the ability to vote on it, do we? It's not democratic. So that would be a progressive, or that would be a left wing. That would be a left wing viewpoint. You see it a lot on social media. Somebody says, well, it's not a right or left thing. It's rich versus poor. No, it's a right or left thing. That's the definition. Okay, free enterprise, private ownership. Yeah, as opposed to funding you know, if it's private, it's not going to be. It's likely it's not going to be distributed equally. The proceeds, the profits. Socially traditional ideas. You know, they're against gay marriage. That's the social side. But, okay, so why don't we have all these? Why don't we have a higher minimum wage? Why don't we have Medicare for all? Because they throw in these trick issues, trans athletes. If you think that's an important issue, it may be important and you might be on the correct side of it, but the whole reason why you're talking about that is they don't want to talk about the real issues. Because if we only talked about the real issues, guess what? It would be more of a left-wing government, wouldn't it? Everything would be distributed more fairly. Because in a democracy, how is an elite gonna possibly hope that there's fewer and fewer of them every day as capitalism eats itself and we have more and more multimillionaires, billionaires, and the middle class shrinks and we have more people living in tents, living on the streets. How do they hope to keep winning elections? Well, they win elections with issues like that, and the Democrats love it too. They love that we're having a conversation over here about unisex bathrooms and trans athletes that affects like 0.01% of the population. Don't get fooled by stuff like that. I tried to explain it to my parents. When you find out your parents are dumb, I said, I'm not going to vote for a person just because they have a D next to their name. Oh, I don't get it. Literally so upset that I would insult Nancy Pelosi because by definition, she is a right-winger. It's not the progressive left. Chuck Schumer, they are by definition right-wingers. They're right-wingers. Sorry to break it to you. All right, I want to thank you so much for being with me, for watching the video. Now, if you're on TikTok, there's going to be appeals process. This is going to be a while. It's going to be a drawn-out thing, but TikTok ultimately could be going away in the United States. So I hope, here we are talking about that right-left thing again, right? The right wing has gotten rid of TikTok, or will be getting rid of TikTok. Both Republicans and Democrats, the right wing, and with YouTube, they already made me so inept. They pushed me in a corner where I get like 10 views. They made me impotent. That wasn't myself. They made so I'm trying to get people to watch because TikTok is more fair and you can actually get views on TikTok. I'm trying to get people that watch on TikTok over to YouTube where I get 10 views, where I'm on an algorithm, and they intentionally put me on an algorithm where I can't get any viewers. So please, it's Billionaire Lives Matter. It's the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel / Mini Poodle, the Cavapoo, the Poodle mix. And please subscribe. I love that. I'm not going to ask for any money, anything like that. Just subscribe, please.